Hey guys, we're out here for the Tactical Emergency Casualty Care course. This is a course that's put on by the city and an outside agency to help better prepare the officers for the use of tourniquets during a mass casualty situation, such as an active shooting. So let's go ahead and catch up with them. They're already actively involved in the scenarios. Today's the third day. Let's go see what they're doing. So like I said, right now they're actually inside doing a scenario. I gotta wait out here for them to finish so that I can don some protective gear because they're using semi-munition rounds for this drill they're doing. Alright guys, I'm here with Victor from Gritborn. He's one of the senior instructors during this course. He's going to give you guys a little rundown of what's going on here today. What exactly is Gritborn?
Gritborn is a company, a local company that is operated by your first responders in Miami. We're all cops, veterans, and firefighters. Gritborn's mission is basically train law enforcement in tactical medicine to keep themselves, citizens, and their partners alive. And what we train law enforcement is stop the killing, stop the dying, and rapid evacuation of the wounded.
Very good. Stop the killing would be to address that threat, and then if there's any, stop the dying, any person that's wounded, you go ahead and address them medically.
Exactly.
And we do the evac if you have to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the same cop that may have to stop and neutralize the threat may have to turn around and start applying medical interventions until dedicated professional services come in.
And that's exactly what you guys are teaching this class right now.
Yes, sir.
I noticed you guys had a 3-day course. The first day was classroom, correct?
Correct.
And the second day, you guys were doing more hands-on drills.
Yes.
Can you tell me what was the hands-on drills you guys were doing yesterday?
So one of the main things we focus on is the application of the tourniquet. First of all is how to get to that patient, how to safely get to that patient, and maneuver any obstacles from a tactical perspective.
Let's go! Let's go! Shots are fired, let's go! Shots are fired, let's go! Push, push, push! Shots fired downstairs!
Hurry! There's some people hurt! There's some people shot! There's some people over there! Hurry! 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 There's some people shot! There's some people shot!
One of the main things that we do in the dark room is a stimulus. It's a dark stimulus. We actually get them to encounter that dark, encounter that fear of working in the dark, but it really is a skill builder. Think about it, if you can actually apply a tourniquet or do any kind of fine motor skill application in the dark, and you do it correctly and proficiently, then that's only going to build on your confidence. One of the things that we have to learn and remember, and it's all part of our training, is that sometimes, although light can be very beneficial and can be a savior, light can also be our enemy, because in the wrong situation, in the wrong time, light can actually either illuminate us or it can actually give our precision away. So that is one of the reasons why that we're forced to actually learn how to work in the dark or low light settings.
So I was talking to one of the officers in the class, and they said that the second day you guys were practicing on pigs.
Pig legs.
A pig's leg?
Yeah, it was a pig's leg. What we're doing there is we're basically taking real flesh, and then we cut it open, we make different wound patterns, and then they have to use the hemostatic or the combat gauze that we've talked about earlier. We simulated like it's bleeding with the fake blood. We have the system set up for it, and it's actually blood coming out of the wound, just like it would in a human being.
All right, so they're doing their drills. Victor, thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna go ahead, get a little closer to them, don my gear, protective gear, and go check it out.
Have fun.
All righty, have a good one.
Yep.
What's your name?
Officer Manning.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you
This
doing
the first
today?
time doing this drill?
Yes, sir.
All right. How's the class been so far?
It's been amazing. I've learned a lot.
And this is all with the tourniquets you guys are using, right?
Tourniquets, combat gauze, as well as anything else medically that we need in case of a trauma situation or active shooter, let alone any daily shooting that could take place at any time. 14 QSK, 15 QSK.
I show you guys units responding to a 332 Foxtrot, Northwest 7th Avenue, 23rd Street. Reference multiple shots fired to people on the ground.
QSO.
We're headed to a multiple shots fired call with 2 people on the ground.
Mine, see me fire rush, we got 2 males now. What do you have over there? I got a male subject right here. Over here, I got you covered, I got you covered.
Let me know when you're ready. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Top fire, top fire, top fire. I'm up. You alright? Where you at?
No, just for one. Stop back. Stop. That's it. Go. That's the people screaming for help out there. Get me off the edge right now. I'm bleeding. Help me, man. Help me. Help me. I'm bleeding. Help me, man.
What are you gonna do, man? I'm bleeding. What are you gonna do for me? What are you gonna do for me? I'm bleeding. Come on, man. My arm is killing me.
It hurts so much. What did I tell you about this? What did I tell you? How can you put pressure right now on his arm? How can you put pressure on his arm? Put your knee on him.
Help me.
There we go.
There you go. The bleeding stops. All right, sir.
Look at what you're doing. Control your breathing. Control your breathing. Control your breathing. Slow and smooth.
Help me.
Smooth as fast.
Help me. Am I gonna make it, man? Talk to me, man.
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite song? Focus on what you're doing. What does March stand for?
March stands for massive hemorrhage.
Massive hemorrhage. Airway. Respiration. Keep working. Keep working. Circulation. And boom. Keep working.
Pressure.
There you go. That's what I like to see. Where's the artery? On the outside or the inside? Where's the pressure going to be?
Pressure's gonna be on the inside.
Okay. Where do you want that tourniquet? High and tight. Say it out loud. High and tight. Use both of your hands. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing. Focus. What does AFU stand for? AFU. Alert. Injuries. We're not done. How do we check for more injuries?
We're gonna call.
Why did you start down here instead of here?
Because it's belt boots.
Right. Why? Why do I start down here?
Because you have the femoral artery right here. That's your biggest artery.
Good. Keep searching.
I got one hole right here.
Okay.
Apply pressure.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay. What do we teach you? How do we teach you to put your hands?
Right here. My claws.
Good. All the way down. Grip. All the way down. Good. Okay. Check the top side.
Hey, man.
Keep checking for injuries. Good.
Hold me.
They're telling you I'm cold, man. I'm cold.
I got you. I'm gonna cover you.
Body heat. That's what I like to see.
I got one right here, bro. Good job.
Have you talked to dispatch?
We need some units. Miami, send some units. I got multiple gunshot wounds for 2 male victims.
Okay, good job. Stand by. You control the tourniquet. Okay, you need to manipulate the patient, move their leg. You need to position to one side to get that pressure on. I want that pressure on. I want body weight on that pressure. As much pressure as possible on that femoral artery, okay? While I have that pressure, I'm slowing that down. I can now bring out my gear, I can stretch it out, prep it, and then if I need to switch, bring my other knee in and go to work. If I need to lift them up, I lift them up, trying to maintain as much pressure as possible.
All right, guys, so the scenario is over. I'm here with Gabe. He's the owner of Gritborn. He's gonna give us a rundown of what you guys just saw. Gabe, how you doing?
Hey man, how's it going?
Good,
nice
good.
to meet you. In this specific situation, there's shots fired, they have to respond, and as they're responding, they're gonna find multiple victims with critical injuries. As they were there, they got ambushed, and as they were ambushed, then they have to address that threat, neutralize the threat, take care of it. And after they neutralize the threat, they now have to perform medical interventions that are going to be able to save lives. They're going to have to take out their tourniquets, they're going to have to address which areas are bleeding, which areas are most critical, and go ahead and begin to put those tourniquets on. They're putting on tourniquets under a lot of stress. We have several instructors that surround them. They're yelling at them, they're telling them to hurry up, they're asking them why they're doing what they're doing, they're asking them why they chose that intervention. They're putting all this stress on them. They're having to filter out all the noise, maintain situational awareness of their environment, and treat the victim.
So the main tool you guys used was the tourniquet for this scenario.
Yes.
What kind of tourniquet do you guys use? I know there's many different kind of makes and models.
This is the CAT tourniquet. This is called the Combat Application Tourniquet, and it's made by North American Rescue. This is what we're using today here in our training. They're having to learn how to apply this. They're having to learn the different anatomies, the windlass rod, the strap, the catch, all these areas. They have to be able to know it, and then they have to be able to apply it. We also teach them when it's a hasty tourniquet and they have to put it right away. They check, is there anything in my pockets that's gonna stop? Because what tourniquets are doing is we're compressing all that tissue, all that muscle up against the bone. So they're gonna have to learn how to do it. They wanna get it as high as possible. And what we wanna do is we always want this band facing towards the body, towards the center of the body. They can be able to use both hands, they can control it because this moves. And what's gonna end up happening is I don't want this windlass rod on the outside, I want it on the inside. So I can grab it and control it, bring it towards towards the inside, and you want this tourniquet as high as possible. Okay, as high as we can possibly get it. And they're having to do this where you have to follow the Velcro all the way. You want all the Velcro to completely stay on Velcro. This first cinch right here is already beginning the pressure on my leg. It's already beginning to compress tissue
Before
against
you actually even turn it.
Absolutely. Right now, it's already very tight on my leg. Now, as I grab that windlass rod, I'm going to begin to twist. And if you can see, this right here is going to start to pull, and it starts coming closer and closer together. And look, I mean, right now, it's very, very painful. Tourniquets are very, very painful. And they're going to completely come, and they're going to secure it right there. It's going to catch and be secured. Once it's secured here, they're going to grab their time strap, come over, and they would then write their time. And you notice it's on the inside. If I'm laying down, this is going to be on top. You can also bring it a little bit more. But as I'm being dragged, it's not going to be caught on anything.
I noticed that once the tourniquets were on, they had to feel for wounds. Now, you guys teach them a specific technique and how to feel for wounds under a high stress situation?
Yes, absolutely. They have to put their fingers together. And what they're doing is they're putting their fingers together, they're raking all the way down and feeling all the way down the legs and the arms. And what they're kind of looking for, to give you an example, is when I cup my hand and you simulate going across your belly button, when you fall into your belly button, then all of a sudden you find an area, it's an area to check. People can easily miss gunshot wounds in that sense. So they're taking the time to check the lower half, check the upper half. They have to rake it. Absolutely. They put their hands together, they're completely raking, they're checking for firmness all the way down. They have to check from pretty much the hips down, and the reason they're doing that, you have the larger extremities at the bottom. The femoral arteries are larger in your legs, so they're checking for critical bleeding in those areas, and they want to stop those extremities first. Then they come towards this top and they check the extremities and then start heading towards head and torso areas.
All right, Gabe, thanks, man.
No problem.
Have a good one. I'll be out there with you.
All right, brother.
What is this over here they're passing out?
This is combat gauze, brother. This is what they use to patch up a wound, to put pressure on it. It's got an adhesive that makes it clot faster.
Can you actually stick that inside the wound?
Yes.
Okay.
It goes inside. It's got an adhesive in it that it goes in, and it forms a clot faster, so it stops the bleeding out.
All right.
Yeah.
How you doing, Lieutenant?
Sir, how are you?
Good. We're gonna go on to the active shooting phase. Unfortunately, today during this class, I'm sure you're aware of it, Texas also had an active shooter.
Unfortunately, we heard about the active shooter situation that happened in Texas. Our hearts and thoughts and our prayers are with all the victims in Texas. It's unfortunate, we just heard about it a few minutes ago. So our hearts are with you, and any support that you need, we're here for you.
So back to what we're doing today. This is the active shooter scenario that they're doing for this class.
Yes, the officers are responding to a school where an active killer is taking lives from innocent victims. The officers have to respond, neutralize the threat, and then go into a phase 2, change their hats into a medical component, which is saving lives.
All right, so since this is the area they're going to be doing the shooting, before everybody runs in there, can we just get a quick tour to see real quick what's going on?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, so as we come in, there's multiple rooms and doors that the officers have to clear when they come in. We're going to have a gunman here playing the role of bad guy, and we're going to have to locate that individual and neutralize it. It's not real gunfire, but it's they're blanks to attract the officers inside here to get them to enter the location in an imminent manner.
It induces a little extra stress too.
Correct.
Yeah, so we got to put
Foam ears.
Put little foam ears.
Protect us.
So the instructors are in here right now. They're prepping the rooms, getting everything ready for this scenario. They're just about finished up, getting ready to start. One of the rooms here has the dummy with the gunman. So these are the type of rooms that they're going through. The instructor is making a point to try to get this as realistic as possible. This is a multiple gunshot wound. If you look closely, you can see the blood actually coming out of the wounds. So as you can see, there's a lot of attention to detail that the instructors go through to make this scenario as realistic as possible.
Hey, come on, let's play this last one. All right, let's go. There's gonna be a subject to your right, all right? All right. Thank you. All right, we got things for you. Yeah, man, you okay, man? All right, man, come on, man. We man, help me, man. My right leg, oh. Okay, my right leg, oh. Yeah. Hey, man, am I gonna make it? Yeah, man. Okay, man.
What does AFPU stand for? AFPU.
Attention, alert.
Attention.
Alert, alert, King. Verbal counterpunch.
What does the C stand for?
What about that? What are you gonna do now?
Come on, talk to each other. Focus on what you're doing. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. How do you check for injuries?
How can you slow that bleeding down? How can you slow that bleeding down?
All of a sudden, because she's real, you forgot how to check for injuries. Come on!
There you go. It sucks, huh? It sucks having somebody else's blood all over you. All right. Now what are you gonna use? Those. Slow and smooth. Smooth is fast. Pull. That's a pressure dressing. Why are you letting go? Why are you letting go? Just tell me, what would you use?
And really bad is to keep the wound tight. The wound tight.
There you go. That's all I needed to hear. Okay. Got it.
That's my turn to get right there.
Good training. Very good training. Whose tourniquets are these?
Those tourniquets, they look good.
Yeah, this one was good. Nice and tight.
And this one's good too.
Yeah, that one's really good too. They did good, and then they did the
Good
two.
job on the chest shield.
Yeah.
Good job on communicating, knowing that one is covering while the other was preparing. And when you move, if you saw that
They
bleed,
did good.
good job in cleaning. Actually, you guys did real well.
So I'm here with Gabe. Scenarios are finished. I noticed that at the end of it, you give a critique and you're making sure that the tourniquets are secure.
Yeah, absolutely. They're breathing fast. We get them to stand up. We get them to calm down for a second. I want them to take off their masks, kind of remove some of those stressors. Stand up. Take a deep breath. Peel your mask. Take your mask off and breathe. Slow down. Slow your breathing down.
That was great.
Slow your breathing down.
That was really cool.
So that way now we can go over all their interventions, go over their tourniquets, go over their chest seals, and every other thing that they had to do to save this victim's life.
So some of you guys may have noticed that the officers are not arriving as a group, one at a time. That's the way it is in real life. An officer that's the closest to an active shooter or an active threat or an active killer is going to be responding in sequential order. Whoever's closest gets there. If it's one officer, that officer is going to have to handle that threat. As time progresses, a minute might go by, 2 minutes might go by before more officers get there, but that first officer on scene, second officer on scene, they're going in. And that's what this scenario is demonstrating. Yeah, so guys, this is an incredible training. Highly recommended. I've never seen anything like this in training before. This is the first time for me, and I'm looking forward to hopefully be put in this class so I can get it hands-on as well. So as always, Gabe, thank you.
Definitely, brother.
And don't forget to like,
share,
and subscribe. You guys have a good one.
Have a good one.
See you later.